They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Matt Madness Network live on YouTube. I'm your host for the night, Alo Aaron Lloyd. Clap it up, clap it up. Thank you. All right, so I'm also joined with my best friend, my co-host.
I'm back. The real me.
Number 7.
What you saw last week, that wasn't me. No, 2 weeks ago, it wasn't me.
Number 7, the real. Dirty Dominic. Eric.
Funny when my boys said, they're like, you did 30 days off. What's this 30 days on? So I did 11 on. Yesterday, day 12 was off. Day 13, back.
That math adds up. So as always, guys, subscribe on all podcast platforms. Be a Stitcher.
Bark it up.
We got Braun Breaker in the building, and make sure you go to Ringside Club and Madness.
We got Braun Breaker in the building
to save 10% off
your
order.
Pop the crowd.
So, had a week off. Me and you both were on vacation. You were at the beach. I was at home on a staycation. We just previously talked, so I'm sure you I'm telling you about your great time that you had at the beach. I've been busy over here, but I'm still enjoying my time off. So, during your time off, did you watch anything in particular?
I did watch Money in the Bank, but I do think I definitely deserve a rewatch because obviously being on vacation, being at the beach, having company, having casual fans, having non-wrestling viewers. So there's obviously sentiments I didn't get to see or appreciate. But, saw that. Saw Raw. Saw AEW special last week. This week, as we're recording it fresh off the air, the Mexico special, starting that. Shout out to MVP, or shout out to MJF wearing the MVP gear.
That was good.
Shout out to my daughter in the background because she's a huge MJF fan.
Oh, is she now?
No, she
okay. I was going to say, I remember that she despised him. From the jump. That's day one-ish for her. I do recall that. Hey, everybody say hi to Team Clap. Hold on. We got to clap it up for Team. We got to clap it up.
Literally, as I picked her up earlier, I was like, yo, you got any like music suggestions? She's like, as long as it's not MJF's theme song. It's like, oh, okay.
The fact that's in rotation, that's funny to me.
It's not. It's just funny. Okay. That's where she went.
Okay, so on my end, I didn't watch much. I wasn't able to catch Money in the Bank. I'm very upset I did not watch Chad Gable's performance from Worlds Collide because I heard that he ripped it up. It was definitely a match of the year contender from what I've been told. And you would think he's a luchador, but he's not. But I'm definitely looking forward to taking the time out to watch that because I've been like super busy and haven't had the time.
I do want to rewatch that whole show just because there's some things. I do love everything they're doing with the Worlds Collide thing / the AAA contingency. I saw something on a dirt sheet that Lindsay Dorado was like a honorary member of the LWO. I've been trying to find like photograph proof of that. It's just funny. I'll have an LWO tidbit later on in the show. But yeah, just cool. And AAA tag titles are currently held by SmackDown superstars Los Garzas. So just cool stuff going on with that. Yeah, and again, what last thing, WWE haters, which I have been before, but they always say like these inter-brand things never work out for the other companies. Is huge for them that somebody like Trick Williams is TNA champion, and it's huge that you have the Garza cousins as the AAA tag champions. It's because it's more notoriety or publicity that those titles have gotten in decades.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about that is I'm not sure what they're going to do with AAA as far as if they're going to be like some kind of TV show or just kind of stay where they've been this entire time. But I do think it's cool that –
my early prediction – let's cut you off. I feel like it's going to be like NXT UK. It's just easy because it's already established. NXT UK, they built that from the ground up. This is something that's been around forever.
Yeah, and also at the same time, they could eat like not maybe possibly not UK talent, but it could be the Latinos talent that could actually be out there.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But I do think it's cool, especially those guards, because they've been on the main roster for like years and pretty much been doing nothing. They've been part of Legado del Fantasma, but they haven't been doing much lately. But I think it's good that you can actually send them down there and actually give them something actually to do. And I know something that they really, really won't mind doing either because of the lineage of AAA. So we had a few things happen. So I think we talked about this heading to Money in the Bank. We did a countdown about the top 10 Money in the Bank matches of all time. Cena and Punk was number 1 for both of us. So now we're getting Cena and Punk again. Now this is probably the most anticipated match I think we've all been waiting for the Cena Last Time Is Now tour. So what are your thoughts on this? And do you think this is going to last longer than one pay-per-view? And do you think Seth Rollins is going to end up possibly being kind of like standing over this entire thing and cutting it short?
So, like, what I do enjoy and appreciate about it, as fun as a lot of these scenarios are, I feel like there's a greater picture, and I'd love for me to be wrong on what the greater picture. I feel like his, New England show in December, rumored to be titled Ruthless Aggression, is going to be versus Cody, and I feel like he finishes this run as a heel, loses, goes out on his shield, loses against Cody, and then he's automatically a babyface. You lose, you leave the company, boom. I feel like this is a beautiful way to go out. However, obviously I'm a Punk fan. Day one, always been, ever since I got back into wrestling. I'd love to see him in Saudi Arabia become WWE champion. Also, it makes sense. Hey, let him win. And imagine like the pop in circumstance. He wins and then Seth cashes in. There's a lot of things. I want this guy that just re-debuted, Ron Killings. I wish he'd become the oldest WWE champion all the time. The cool thing is, as some wrestling fans may say, WWE product may be stale or a little predictable, or there's a lot going on with that WWE title picture. And as much as a lot of it's predictable, it's like, all right, cool. There's some surprises, and I'm biting into it. Like, cool. I could see Killings getting it. I could see Punk winning. And I don't really see that happening. I do see the long haul. I see Cody winning it in December, but I'm biting on the whole way through. Let's see. I do disagree. I do. Obviously, Punk, as a Punk fan, I think this is what I'm looking for the most forward to. But I don't want to look past that short build to that Orton match. That Orton match was great. And obviously Orton versus Cena, Orton being Cena's greatest rival. That was something to look forward to.
Yeah, so the whole thing with Punk is I'm really enjoying it. And I really don't think I don't want it to be as short as the Orton thing. But I kind of like what they're doing, especially like they had that promo on SmackDown where Orton came out, Cody came out, LA Knight. And I think that was Cena's best promo since he actually turned heel, because we finally got answers. So we kind of got an insight to his logic. He's like, you know what? I used my seniority to get into the I lost the Royal Rumble, but I used my seniority to get inside the Elimination Chamber. I knew Punk and Rollins would beat the guts out. All I had to do was pick up the scraps, etc. So I did like his explaining of his thought process and his logic. But then I thought that was his best promo since he's been back as a heel. But I hope this is not short, because I think this is the thing that most wrestling fans are looking forward to, with the interaction between Punk and Cena. And we kind of got a taste of that the night after WrestleMania when Punk crashed out on the announce table on Cena. It was at the Chamber, crashing out on Cena for selling his soul to The Rock. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's not as short as the Orton feud has been, because I think this has a little bit more legs and could be seen a little bit more personal, especially if Seth Rollins.
But
it's kind of
I'd love to see it longer. But when you think of short calendar all the time and the limited amount of dates he's supposed to deliver, Also, I mean, the guys have we're recording this on Wednesday. You're going to hear this on Thursday. He's wrestling tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, another match, another showing. We only got so much time with the guy, and I do agree. Like, I'd love to see the Punk thing drawn out. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, and listen,
I want to be wrong. I feel like he has a match against Punk. I feel like he retains, or there's some pop in circumstance, and then he's on to the next one.
Yeah, and I think the whole thing with Rollins, because those two are pretty much obsessed with each other. And I think I can see in a world Rollins tries to cash in.
Punk and Rollins?
Yeah. I can see in a world where
Rollins
tries to cashes in and he loses and Rollins loses his Money in the Bank opportunity just to try to prevent Punk from winning the championship. I can see that happen at Night of Champions because that whole thing between those two is not over yet. And we all know that Rollins does not want to see Punk as the champion, so he'll do any and everything to not get him to be the champion. And you talked about Ron Killings. We'll jump to that right now. So R-Truth made his return at Money in the Bank, costing John Cena and Logan Paul the tag match against Cody.
You also have his 24/7 Elite, right?
I sold it.
I don't want to talk about stuff I sold, but I need
a couple years ago, I sold it.
I need it.
A couple years, I sold it. So Ron Killings made his return to Money in the Bank, costing Cena the tag match, and we get him return on Raw. He cut his hair on Raw, attacked Cena twice in the same night on SmackDown. What are your thoughts on this R-Truth, but now Ron Killings return?
I love it. It's cool. It's exciting. I mean, there's a lot to take away from it. I hope we can optimize the max potential of it. See this man go to the top. I like the idea, just like he said, like he's Ron Killings. He just the name switch, we should be able to take him serious. Where like arguably, like, yeah, sure. If you wanted to say a month ago, I don't want R-Truth beating John Cena for WWE champion. Like this jokester, this 483-time 24/7 champion shouldn't be WWE champion. But Ron Killings, this guy just cut his hair off, blah, 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 blah. Sure, makes sense. Also, this is one of, especially as to my fandom, obviously there's years, started watching wrestling in 96, 97, didn't watch it for 7 years. I don't know how many times I can think of somebody being fired and because of crowd outreach, less than a week later, they're back. They're back. So, like, that alone, I love, like, that's so cool. It's awesome to be part of that. But that I don't want him to just be back. I don't want him to be just, a filler. I think it would be awesome. And it's like I said on this show a couple weeks ago, if he were to be WWE champion, he would then be the oldest WWE champion, and just excluding Vince, as Vince is currently the oldest WWE champion of all time. So let's give that accolade to somebody. I mean, Taker's not moving in the ring. Big Show's with AEW. Like, who's going to be some old MF that's going to come take the WWE championship? Somebody needs to win that. And if somebody's going to get that accolade, I'd love it to be Ron Killings.
Yeah, so when it comes to Ron Killings, the fact that he came back, turned on, attacked Cena, it's like, that's different. So you don't know what to expect. So Raw comes on, he's on the announce table, cuts his hair, and says that that the truth has set me free. Now I'm Ron Killings. So this kind of unleashes a whole nother layer toward Ron Killings, because Ron Killings hasn't been technically Ron Killings or a heel since 2011. When in his last feud with John Cena, and people loved it because it was so different. Because I remember when he first turned heel and he was challenging Cena, I was like, "Really? R-Truth challenging John Cena for WWE Championship?" I couldn't believe it. Like, he had this whole thing where he even took the WWE Championship from Cena, was carrying it around, leading up to the match at Capital Punishment. But this adds such a different layer because now he's not a joke. He can be taken seriously. Like, when have we ever seen R-Truth since 2011 actually be taken seriously? Even being like showing aggression, attacking Cena twice. He's been attacking Cena ever since Money in the Bank. And then you have to kind of have to speculate, because on the promo on SmackDown, Randy Orton said, "I was going to beat you if it wasn't for that person." And you kind of have to speculate, maybe we're going to get a Randy Orton and Ron Killings out of this, because Ron Killings is the reason that Randy Orton did not win the WWE Championship. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing what's going to come from that, because Ron Killings is a whole different character than R-Truth. And we all know that as goofy as R-Truth was, we know he can pretty much do everything. We know he can we know he can cut a promo. We know he can deliver in the ring. And then him versus Randy Orton in a serious situation is going to be actually different. So I think that's just me speculating, but I do think that's going to happen. But we do have Ron Killings taking on John Cena on SmackDown Friday night, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Now, the biggest thing that blew my mind last week was Jey Uso lost the heavyweight championship for the world.
That blew your mind.
So I'm not booing Gunther. I'm booing what we're getting. Allegedly, like, this was homage is
your boy.
He's like fulfilling a promise made by Vince. So salute to Homage for being honorable. That's the issue. So I'm going to Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca. Dave LaGreca lost his mind on Busted It Open. So right now I'm going to play a clip of Bully Ray discussing his thoughts on the Goldberg-Gunther heavyweight championship of the world match at Saturday night's main event.
Quite apropos for what we're dealing with here. You know how certain politicians, and I am not talking about presidents, senators, assemblymen, women, blah, blah, blah. I'm just talking about politicians in general. You know how certain politicians get voted into office and they consistently do a bad job, but yet every voting cycle that comes up, the people continue to vote this politician back into office?
Yes, I think there's many examples of that.
Correct. That's what's going on here. Until the WWE universe decides that they hate this and walk away from the product and stop investing their time and money in the product. And I am not suggesting that fans stop investing time and money in the product because of this. Nothing will change. The WWE right now is riding a tremendous wave. Did the wave tamper off a bit for a couple months? Yes. Then we felt like we got that wave back with Ron Killings. Then we get Raw last night. We get Goldberg. Everybody's screaming at the top of the lungs, this is horrible. Why? Yada, yada, yada. Nobody's happy about it. I agree with you about the rhyme, the reason, and the logic. I despise lack of logic in wrestling. I get it, it's wrestling. I get it, it's sports entertainment. I understand creative license and creative liberty sometimes where we need a little bit of wiggle room. This is not wiggle room. The guy comes back and he gets in Gunther's face. The segment ends. And approximately less than 10 minutes later, we get a graphic and the match has been made.
Yep.
So last night, Nick Aldis filled in for Adam Pearce.
Yes.
So we had a fill-in GM. The fill-in GM is probably just there because Adam Pearce needed a sick day. Something going on at home.
Substitute teacher.
We had a substitute teacher. This substitute teacher allowed Goldberg to just show up and tell the World Heavyweight Champion that he was next And then all of a sudden, this match miraculously is made. Who made the match? Why did they make the match? What's the logic behind them saying yes? Did Nick Aldis approve this? I'm going to take you back a couple of months ago to a press conference in which Triple H stated he did not want to insult the intelligence of the WWE Universe. Storyline like this, to me, is insulting because it's just ramming something down your fan base's throat and just expecting them to consume it.
All right.
Shout out Bubba Ray Dudley.
All right. So
2-time Hall of Famer.
So I'm sure you were very upset about this. As much wrestling fans were because of what we're actually getting. So I'll let you go ahead and give your thoughts.
I mean, who am I to argue with Bubba Ray? Look, I am not the Goldberg hater that has been associated with this show for the majority of his existence. Goldberg having his retirement match that he has deserved off his career. Let's go. Deserves it. Him versus Gunther. Boom. Gunther's excuse my language, he's a fucking stud. Signed with WWE for how long? Majority of that time as a champion. Gunther versus Goldberg, 1, doesn't need a championship on the line. 2, okay, you want to be stupid and say it needs it? Okay. Bully, a.k.a. Bubba Ray Dudley, one after the goes on to explain how, okay, well, Nick, what was with that? And it wasn't the first time. They have, substitute teacher, Nick Aldis is there. But how about, why not like Goldberg say, I want? And how about he go behind this, he goes backstage and then like he runs into Triple H, says, I want this match. I want this match. Like how is he, this senior citizen MF, just able to just walk back and say, yo, I want a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. And Dave LaGreca goes on and he points out something great. And he says, Goldberg has had, I think 5 recent
and lost 4
matches, and they're all championship matches.
I
could be wrong. I think they are.
Most of them are. I'll say you're right because the last one I recall him.
Unless you're talking about a Royal Rumble.
No, he had a match with Ziggler at SummerSlam 19. But I think the last
who won that?
ones
Who won that?
Goldberg.
Well, so what's that? The one of the 5 he's won?
No, the one that he won was his match with the Fiend.
Exactly. So that's
for the title.
So maybe that's proven that stat that
4 out of
everything.
5.
Yeah, exactly. That all 4 out of 5 of his last World Championship matches. Either way. Sorry, I'm making ruckus.
Yeah, so I have a topic about this a little bit later, but this is like in my mind, I'm like, this might be Triple H giving TKO the finger. Because this is like very Vince-esque. But Triple H,
he's giving him a hug.
For Triple H to make the decision to make this match for the heavyweight championship of the world. Because one, nobody's going to care even more than it's for the heavyweight championship of the world. Now, me personally, that segment with Gunther and Goldberg last year was awesome. I came on this show and I raved about it. I enjoyed it. But that's all I needed. I didn't need Gunther versus Goldberg. Because Goldberg.
Nah, you got to get the match. You got to get the match.
Goldberg is limping down the damn ramp to get to the damn ring. I'm like, what? I'm like, fam, you just got here.
So here's the thing. So like Gunther's response, him reposted, says, "Sure." He's like, "I'm next. Sure, I can spare 3 minutes." That's gangster.
Yeah. So
let's get this over with.
Now I'm sure Gunther will make it entertaining, but it's just like really, like for real, for the world title, like really. and I just talked about the whole Universal title thing. Like, I'm kind of like, I don't think they would do this, but what if he wins? I don't think it'll happen. But what if he actually wins? Because we said the same thing about the Fiend. But I don't think it's gonna happen. But it's just like really, and it's just at the expense of Jey Uso. I don't want to say it came out of. I don't want to say the title loss came out of nowhere. I'm not mad about title loss. I'm mad about what we're getting, and if this is the exact reason why Jey lost the title to get a match for Bill Goldberg.
Do you think? Now again, I like to argue that I'm a bigger Jey Uso fan than you, but do you think this would mean it would be less of an issue if he had a better IC title reign?
No, I feel the same way.
His IC title reign, I'd argue, like, I get it. He won it at 41. He did this and that. To me, that IC title win is still bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger because, like, one, like, he was well, Grant, I'll say yes because that was his first title win. It felt like a bigger moment.
Singles title for either of the Uso brothers, we never thought would ever happen.
Yeah, but then, and like I talked about when I gave my thoughts on WrestleMania, the match, it didn't live up to my expectation. The ending was extremely flat because nobody anticipated Gunther tapping out to that sleeper hold. Like, there was no anticipation. Like, there was not like Gunther like showing any kind of forms of
frog splashing. But wait, could this be?
There was no like fighting the sleeper hold. There was no like him trying to escape for a long period of time. So it was like really anticlimactic. But the IC title win, I think, is a bigger moment for Jey Uso than was.
So I firmly believe
match.
It's rough because we're talking just shy of 50 days, I believe. I may be off by my numbers. Listeners, corrected in the comments, but 50 days as a world heavyweight champion, and he defended it twice. This was his third defense. He loses it. He defended it twice, and one of those two times he retained it by DQ. So he successfully retained it once. Where I think with the IC title, I think he had one defense, kept it, and then boom, lost it back to due to the new bloodline, he dropped it back to Braun Breaker. So, but again, like that moment, I think again, WrestleMania, obviously night one, start of the show of WrestleMania 41. That's huge. But I do think if he had a better IC title reign, this would have hurt a little less.
Now, they did kind of give him a consolation prize. They did allow him to enter the King of the Ring tournament as the final participant. So now, Jey Uso, he was victorious in his Fatal 4-Way match. So now, in the semifinals, we're going to have Sami Zayn and Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Now, with this is interesting here because now I'm not trying to bring The Rock back into this. Well, Dwayne. I'm not trying to bring Dwayne back into this. But this whole thing about Cody becoming a villain, what's the Dark Knight saying? What's the saying from the Dark Knight? You live long enough to become a villain or something like that, along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. But for Cody has to go through all his boys to become King of the Ring. And I think that's really interesting here because Cody has to face Jey. And then I'm pretty sure Randy Orton is going to beat Sami Zayn because we have not gotten a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton match since Cody's been back. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. And Randy already said, no matter what I got to do to get to John, I love you like a brother, but I'll kick your head off if I have to. So I'm looking forward to that. But the fact that Cody kind of has to go through his brethren is a real interesting thing to me. What do you think about that?
It is. It makes it more intriguing, makes it more exciting. And again, because I'm thinking long term, I do see Cody being the one at the end of that line for Cena, and he's going to be the one to take the title back. So I see that being the way it happens, and it just builds a strong story for him.
And where do you think Jey goes from after this? Because there's rumors that they're going to put him and Jimmy back together.
I'd love to see him in the IC title picture, and it's a weird thing where he's at. Like, obviously, I could see that. I love him as a singles competitor. What do you do? what are you doing, Jimmy? But at the same time, there's so many. I mean, we talk about the tournament. Like you brought up, like Jay being thrusted into that like blind spot for the tournament. There's so many people like, Chad Gable, who, or there's this new luchador Grande Americano who could be, thrusted into a singles picture, whether it be for the heavyweight title or the mid card title. I love that for them. However, when the hell is Karrion Kross going to get booked? When's he going to get pushed? So there's so much, and with all these singles competitors, you got to push them to tag teams, and it's just got to happen.
Yeah, well,
unfortunately, I think Jay does get stuffed out, but he's not staying in the world title picture. He's either going to the IC title or he's out and he's going back to tagging.
Because the other thing is, because Triple H, the way he books things, even though like the winner of this gets a title shot at SummerSlam, same as last year. So I could see the Saturday night's main event match being the last world championship match until SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is only like what three weeks after this. 3 weeks after Saturday night's main event. So I don't think it'll be another world championship match. So I don't see Jay even getting back into that scene. It would have to be something with potentially maybe Rollins, but even with Jay, there's not much for them to do right now in the tag team division either. So he might be lost in limbo for a little bit, unless they could bring something else together that makes logical sense.
Logic.
So I'm also going to talk about this while we're here. The Queen of the Ring bracket. We got in the semifinals. We got Roxy. She's going to take on Jade, and we got Alexa and Asuka. I'm not a big fan of this kind of like thrown together, because like when do we get fatal four ways as like quarterfinal matches essentially? But like I said, this has a lot of intrigue too, because of the whole thing with Roxy and Judgment Day. We'll get to that in a minute. Jade kind of still having Naomi in the background. Alexa has a thing with Charlotte, and Asuka. The return of Asuka doesn't have anything going on with anybody. So, what are your thoughts on who could potentially become the Queen of the Ring?
Asuka versus Io. I can see that. Former stablemates, makes a lot of sense. Big return. I feel like that's my early gut, but I'd like to see Alexa. I really want to see Alexa doing something. I said this a couple weeks ago here. I don't want to just keep seeing her. Yo, she's in this qualifier. She's in this qualifier. This is a Royal Rumble. If you win it, you qualify to main event WrestleMania. Okay, cool. She ain't do shit else. Cool. She's in the qualifier for the Elimination Chamber. Cool. She's in the Elimination Chamber. If you win it, you qualify. But you didn't win the Rumble, so this is your shot. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, cool. Now she's back, Queen of the Ring. That's all she's doing. So I hope we got that, great spot. Her getting the win over Charlotte, not by pinning Charlotte, but by pinning somebody else while staring at her. Love Alexa. Hope that's the case.
Yeah, listen, I just laid out all the scenarios for everybody, basically what they're all doing. Alexa beating Asuka or returning Asuka, I'm not so sure about that, even though I would love Alexa to win, because she needs something, because she's been back all year to give her that thing with Charlotte to grasp on, and her being the queen over Charlotte, I think would be an excellent thing for them to do as far as from a storyline perspective. Also, I can make the same argument for Roxy, what's going on with the Judgment Day. But if I had to make an early prediction, I'm going to probably go with Alexa with you. And speaking of the Judgment Day, unfortunately, Liv Morgan, she sustained an injury, a dislocated shoulder. And
I thought it was dislocated heart.
Dislocated shoulder.
Mine ain't feel the same since she left my TV.
So we lost Liv Morgan for a lengthy amount of time, as the dirt sheets want to put it. And we all know in wrestling, some things are like a blessing in disguise. not blessing in disguise as far as like for what you could tell, storylines you could tell. And I think this might be one of those times because I think you can get a lot out of this, and push the Judgment Day even longer because the whole dynamic of potentially them having to relinquish the tag titles, Roxy step up and be.
Imagine that the women's tag titles got to be relinquished.
Yeah, but we'll see. But I think this is like they could tell a great story with this guy. I could see Roxy stepping in to be Raquel's partner, Raquel earning her trust, and on top of that, Roxy still using some of her Latina heat against Dom, and this entire time, Dom trying not to crack again. So I think there's a lot can get out of it. Even like if Roxy
Dom be cracking, you get me?
Even if Roxy won Queen of the Ring, that's something she could bring back to the Judgment Day as an accolade. And on top of that, being the tag team champion. So there's a lot of possibilities out of this. And like when this all comes, when Liv Morgan's done, it says a lengthy amount of time. I'm not sure how long that was. I know last time she was only out for a few months, maybe 2 months at least. But she'll come back a huge baby face because of this. And then again, you'll have that
back to her natural call.
Yeah, and then you'll have that Lumen thing with Dom again, like it was last year with Rhea. So it's a lot of possibilities that you could do with this, especially with like Finn just like egging it on, like yeah. And now like Finn could be even more excited that Liv isn't even around. I think that has a lot of legs to it. So many possibilities that can come out with this due to this Liv Morgan injury. What are your thoughts?
I'm excited. I love it all. This is cinema. This is a sitcom. This is awesome. My heart breaks for her. I'm glad to see the Judgment Day getting a storyline that they can continue off of after they just disrespected the entire faction and its integrity by Carlito just disappearing.
Yeah, and so what was I about to say? Yeah, so it's it gives it the legs, and Judgment Day could live on for even longer, which is actually going to be really fun to see. And one more thing, I want to talk about. Triple H versus TKO. So, per Jonathan Coachman, of all people, he has said, I'm paraphrasing, but he'll be shocked that Triple H has 18 months left in running WWE. And I'm going to play a clip of him explaining the pecking order when it comes to WWE.
On Coach and Bro Show is how everything is laid out. And you can kind of take the power struggle from the people that the names that are on the revenue that they had to report as big companies do. And on the report, Ari was the number one guy. He is the guy. He also runs 2 or 3 other things that they run. It gets very complicated. But for this discussion, The Rock got anywhere from 30 to 45 million in the last year to come back and be on the board of directors. So on their financials, you've got Ari, you've got another name, and then you got Vince McMahon. And then below Vince, because Vince still owns 3rd most stock options or pieces of stock in the company. Most people don't realize that. So then you keep going down. There's only about 8 names on the list, and there's Dwayne Johnson. And then you got Nick Khan, the president of WWE. The one name that's not on there is Paul Levesque. It's Triple H. And from my time there and my time with The Rock, I know for a fact that he does not get along with Triple H. That does not go away. They've always been butting heads for years and years for a lot of different reasons. And I actually like Triple H a lot. He's always been nice to me. He's kind of a ball buster, but that's okay. But now with this dynamic with Vince being pushed out, now Triple H is the old school guy. He's the guy, and at his core, he's an old school wrestling guy. The reason I said on my show there's a big power struggle, well, first of all, I've talked to 2 people close to the situation. And they told me, but I can't tell you who they are, but I've got really good intel. Also, look at everything, John, that played out the last 3 months, if you really look at it. And fans love to read headlines, don't they? I call you call them marks for a reason. They read. I've been getting crushed over one quote I made about Bailey 3 weeks ago when it was an 8-minute discussion, and that's why I hate dirt sheets. But Rock comes back at Elimination Chamber. We thought it was going to be this great lead up to the greatest heel turn in the history of the business. Did you think that? I thought that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we don't see The Rock at all. They do shows overseas to facilitate Cena and his movie schedule. But not only do we not see The Rock doesn't tweet. He doesn't post. And we know nobody uses social media better than The Rock to promote things that he is in. Remember a year ago when he was part of the whole Cody thing, he was posting 10, 12-minute videos on Instagram.
Those are awesome, yeah.
Nothing, remember? So I encourage fans, do a little homework. Don't just go look at a headline on a website and go, oh, that must be true. Because when you look at this situation and The Rock's getting, let's say, $40 million to be on the board of directors. Johnny, if you and I were on the board of directors of a company and they had their biggest event of the year, and they've got 100 million fans subscribed to YouTube, they've got 100 million fans on Twitter, on Instagram, don't you think that you should at least post during the week of said event? Is that too much to ask? Right?
Definitely not.
Not a post.
Definitely not. Yep.
Not a post. Not only did he have a post, the 3 posts he had within those 5 days was on Project Rock and his Under Armour shoe. So if you go to look at his Twitter, that's all that was there. That's intentional. That's intentional. Because then he doesn't tweet the night of for a main event storyline that he started. And then it got worse. He went on Pat McAfee after Cena went on Monday. And the other part that I don't agree with right now when it comes to the WWE is that TKO, who's their owners, they want to make it an entertainment product. Vince never would have allowed this. And I got to believe at his core, Triple H doesn't agree with it. Because now they're saying when these guys are on the show, they're the character. When they're off the show, they're just a regular person. That's not how wrestling works. Like, I'm the coach 24/7. Now, do we know it's choreographed? Of course we do, Johnny. Of course we do. But I don't want it shoved down my throat. Then it is. So when The Rock doesn't show up, Cena goes on Pat McAfee, and he's baby facing the fans. After he just won the title as a heel, he should have still been a heel. And then 24 hours later, The Rock shows up on McAfee, but couldn't be in Vegas, and then gives a flimsy excuse of, oh, I've got my own things going on. Wouldn't even be specific. And then he tells us that Ari asked him to come to Toronto because ticket sales were down. He didn't say I came there to help with the storyline. He didn't say, hey, we had this planned out. He said, I came to help with ticket sales. Oh, and by the way, we decided to do the heel turn.
All right.
So that's Coach admitting that this guy's a piece of dirt.
All right. So, thoughts on the potential of a Triple H versus TKO / The Rock power struggle?
Man, I hope it don't get there because I'm like you. I'm a Hunter fan, but if Hunter's not involved, I'm out. And if he's not involved, I think it's the downfall. Quick. It's a quick downfall. I think they got a cool 2 months where like, all right, we were just doing this, and then they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, so I don't even know what a WWE would look like without Triple H. My whole existence, Triple H has been a part of WWE. So him
Backlash,
not,
baby. 2K.
Him not even running them because this is all we asked for since we saw what he did with NXT. Now, Coach said he gives Triple H. Triple H probably might not be around in 18 months, and it's just like the whole entire power struggle between. Like I said, we don't know what happened last year with The Rock and Cody Roman thing. We don't know all of the behind the scene details, except The Rock took all the credit, and I'm gonna give The Rock his own clip for this.
Shut up, bitch!
Give him his own clip for that. So. We don't know what went on behind the scenes with that, but The Rock made the best of it. if he pushed back against it. He made the best of it. We got the final ball, some of the best stuff we got in years as wrestling fans. Got casual fans back and got casual fans back, got the hardcore fans invested. But I'm terrified to see what a WWE will look like without Triple H. Unless Shawn Michaels is running it, I'm terrified. And I know you've seen like
if Hunter's out, he's.
Shawn out too. Shawn's out too. But I know you've seen like the memes of like Triple H's WWE like championships, Triple H's WWE, The Rock's WWE, Rikishi's WWE.
Not the best memes ever done.
Yeah. So it's basically all the Samoans are world champions or whatever. It's just something I'm not looking forward to, and I don't really even want to put it into the universe. But I just want to talk about. I thought it was like really interesting of Triple H potentially not being a part of WWE. I'm not sure how credible Coach's sources are because Coach had a source.
He in the company. He can go fuck himself. Yo, Coach, shout out to you. Shout out to what you did. Yeah. Commentary is your backstage stuff cool.
Coach had a source.
In the company, your source is as good as Aaron's.
Coach had a source that Britt Baker was signing with WWE, and as of now, that's been debunked. Allegedly, she has a year or two left on her deal, and she is not signed with WWE. But said not showing his sources. But we'll have to wait and see.
Britt, I miss you. Fucking Tony, put her back on my fucking TV. Give her all the straps.
But he did. But he did make valid points of like the pecking order. There's Ari, Vince, Rock, and Nick Khan, and Triple H is not there. So Triple H isn't a top of the board as those other people are. So if there's a way to kind of get him out,
when he's naming those people, he's naming people all TKO and it's just WWE.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I think it was Carl Anderson said it's not WWE anymore. It's TKO. And I'm gonna ask you about that. What are your thoughts on what TKO has done so far?
Man, I don't care about any of these advertisements on the ring mat. I don't care about them going to Netflix. Honestly, I think the company's up and it's hot. Like overall, I think it's better. There are more casual people talking about the company than there has been in the past 10 years. So I got no issue with what TKO is doing.
Yeah, but as far as TKO, like I said, I could do without the ads because wrestling was the one thing I could watch without watching well, granted, WWE ran ads. It was a walking commercial, but it's not as in your face. Well, I can't even say that.
But I always go back to like you and me, we were WWF kids. But if we were maybe a little more Southern, like WCW had all that stuff on the ring mat. So it's like, okay, cool. Like it offends us because we're WWF fans who saw a clean slate. But I bet everybody in the South don't really give a damn because they grew up off that.
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I had to stop myself because I'm lying. Because WWE was a walking commercial, just not with like ads on the ring. Now, so I didn't mind it because like WWE.
Remember the blimp? Where'd that blimp go? Remember when they're like, what arena did they go to with the roof?
I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember what company sponsored it, but I do remember it. But I'm not mad about
some old. I think it was a Fully Loaded. I saw that. I said to Valentino, I was like, you don't know what that is. She's like,
it might have been 99 or 98 because I do remember we did watch it. But I said, I'm not mad about the ring stuff. Because, like, granted, like, if you watch WCW, they used to have the pay-per-view thing on the match, Slim Jim or whatever the hell on the ring. So I can get over that.
Jacksonville do it. I know we want to hate them, but
now the presentation of it, I've grown to like it because, like, it kind of like granted, it takes forever. Every company has their formula how they do things. Like Vince had his way of doing things. Triple H had his way of doing things. TKO's way of doing things. They try to make it feel like a real thing where like you show the people coming in, like when the show starts, opposed to like pre-show, whatever. You get everybody walking into the ring, and that's the start. That's the start of the walking into the building. That's like how you start the show. Whatever. It's a good presentation element of it. I do think they've done a really good job. I know people have been complaining as far as like ticket pricing or whatever, but I don't really go to shows except unless it's a pay-per-view, so I can't really speak on that. But I think TKO has actually done a really good job. Now, now the ads I think are getting out of control. Like, why is there an ad on a table? Like, come on! Like, why is there an ad
on the gimmicks? Yeah,
on a gimmick table? Like, come on! Like, get that the fuck out of here! I don't need all that. But I think TKO has done a good job because from what they, and also from what we know, they've pretty much stayed out of Triple H's way, which is a good thing.
Know who else stayed out of Triple H's way? Kazuchika Okada.
Anything else for me?
So, all right. Briefly, just because we used to do this back in the day. Just spitballing off the top of your dome. I haven't bought figures in many moons. However, we didn't do in the 2024 Figure of the Year show any like top 3 most recent like figures, favorites for you?
What's over there? I was a big fan of the Jade.
The WWE Jade was good?
Yeah, it kills the AEW one.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
It knocks. It's not even close. It really the pictures don't do it no justice. Like the stock images, they look terrible. You have to see that in person.
So I have both for AEW figures, the shop exclusive and the black one. I do think the shop one's slightly better. I prefer the silver chrome hair. But yeah, I just damaged the box on this, opening it. I'm big, but it's funny. I've been sitting on it for a while. It's nothing about a recent pickup. I just finally opened the Okada Super 7 because the AEW one will be coming in soon, I assume. Haven't bought figures in a minute, so it's cool and fun to talk about them. I've been trying to like find stuff on sale, XYZ. Got the Maivia family for next to nothing. Some other stuff planned open, but cool to think, at least, we're talking 2024 favorites. The Jade's cool to put over. It's just funny as like resorting. I didn't realize like what I got rid of, what I didn't. It's like, all right, cool. Like re-go grab this, re-grab that.
The Legends Carlito's good too. It's on clearance right now. Like $13, I think.
I haven't seen it. So the angle, I definitely know I need the angle from that. I'm furious with myself. I didn't get the Kurt Angle with the gray T-shirt from 3 series ago.
The Legends, you can probably find one. Is it still in the app?
I don't know if it's on the app. It probably is maybe on the app for full price, but I love it. Like, Angle really don't got a bad elite. Like, we could argue that. Like, if you really want to say like he's got a bad elite, like what? Milkomania? Like, his figures are all good. But yeah, I like that Legends one. I love the Perk Mania one. It's not the one we're talking about. The one with the gray shirt. I love that because that's my Kurt. That's my Kurt. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's Babyface. That's him.
No, that's him.
That gray T-shirt?
With his true shirt, yeah. That's his first shirt.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's King of the Ring 2000.
Got it. Yeah, so just open the Super 7 Okada. I don't know how AEW is going to live up to this. Face may be asked, but the how we call these? Soft what? The
soft
gimmick,
goods.
the gear, soft goods gear. This robe's fire. IWGP World Title fire as well. I did get a few other things recently. Yeah, I got the inline Osprey. Did not get the Shop AEW one. A few chases. Actually, kind of got sillier in chases. The Billy Gunn chase because I had the inline Acclaim. Just a bunch of AEW stuff. AEW stuff and like a couple, like 3 WWE punks. plus the most recent defining moments back. So yeah, try to get back into the figures a little bit.
Mm. Oh, the Ultimate J's good too.
Oh, Uso. I thought you said Jade. I was like, what?
Oh no, Ultimate
Jade?
J. That's good
They
too.
gave her one of them. Yeah. Anything Jay, I'm here for. I'm behind on his figures. I just set his. I'm gonna get him elite up in display. So all fire. So yeah. Next week, hopefully a little more figure talk, and we'll be here to.
I think it's preview champs.
We'll be previewing champs. Get out of here, King of the Ring.
All right, so that's it for the show, guys. We'll see you guys next week, and make sure to subscribe, like, turn your post notifications for X2 Fly, Eric Trembicki. I'm Aloy Lloyd. We'll see you guys soon.
That's Aaron Aloy Lloyd.
Got him now, put him down right now, hit him with the palm handle. Tuning up the band, y'all don't understand. Fist of Superman, it's a summer slam. Here we go again. Fans marking man, I hate my balls. Shut the Vince McMahon, it ain't shake the land off the cell. Fans love it, ain't hard to tell. Talking madness, awesome. Well, what I'm cooking, man, y'all off the smell.